What's going on? This is essentially weight loss part 2. And this topic is very near and dear to my heart because a big part of my story is I grew up an overweight, unathletic kid and got picked on a lot as a result. I lost a lot of weight, got athletic, got lean because of fighting, developed an eating disorder because of it, to where now I have the healthiest relationship with food that I ever have and training. And so when I speak on this, know that this is coming from experience. So I have this split up into 2 categories, where most of us start, which is weight loss, but what we really want is lean, toned, and strong. And so when we start on the weight loss journey, we're typically doing lots of cardio. And to this day, that is still the most common prescription. If you want to lose weight, do cardio. I'm not saying I agree or disagree with it. I'm just objectively saying if you were to ask around, watch men's health videos, you're going to see that recommendation a lot. Why? Because it does burn a lot of calories and it's easier to recover from. So it's typical. Typically you're doing a lot of HIIT style type workouts. So you're doing CrossFit, you're doing boot camps, stuff that's super high intensity. Because again, you think if I burn more calories, I will lose weight, which is true. And then you're also dieting down. You're decreasing your calories. I can remember back, probably 13, 14 years ago now or more. On a good day, I would be eating 1,200 calories on a good day as a guy that was 6 foot, probably around 190 pounds at the time, which in case you don't know, is not a lot of food. I don't recommend that to any adult person, but especially a male doing lots of high intensity workouts. And wouldn't you know it, I stopped getting results. I wasn't getting any leaner, even though I was eating clean. And this is the transition that all of us need to go through that come from a weight loss background. Because maybe you're at the position I was, where you've lost lots of weight and you're still sticking to all the things that got you there, which is awesome. But now it's not working. Because in order to get something that you haven't had before, a lean, toned, strong body, you need to do things that you haven't done before, or at least in different ways. And I want to speak on this just for a moment from experience. This is so hard to do because you have all this positive reinforcement from how you lost all your weight, doing all of these things. And now you actually have to let these go and adopt something new, which is so hard because especially if you're like me, the main reason I lost weight is because of the negative body image I had. I was trying to run away from that. And so now you want me to let go of these things that have helped? Like hell no. So I share that because I want you to know if you're in that boat, you're listening to someone that's been through this. And I understand what it's like. And now I'm standing on the other side and there is a better way. Because I know you don't want to diet down forever. I'm sure you're tired of doing hours of cardio. So here it is in a nutshell. If you want to be lean, toned, and strong, the first thing we got to do is do less cardio and more strength training. Notice how I didn't say no cardio. Cardiorespiratory fitness is extremely important. It has been tied to dying or not dying early. It has been tied to general heart health, recovery between workouts. It is extremely important and I would never want to take that off the table. I do cardio still to this day. So keep doing cardio. But unless you have hours and hours every day to work out, something's got to give. You got to take away from somewhere if you're trying to introduce something new. Enter strength training. So what is strength training? Well, instead of doing a bunch of burpees and then to this, then to that, then to that, like the HIIT style boot camp classes you're probably used to, we need to look at things like time under tension, squeezing muscles, going down nice and slow, squeezing muscles to get more tissue breakdown, which helps more muscle building. And that also requires more rest time. And this is especially really hard for those of you that came from these boot camp style classes where you're not used to resting. You're used to just go, go, go. You need to rest. I typically prescribe anywhere between 30 to 90 seconds between every set, depending on the person and the difficulty of the set. But the point is, you need to let your body rest so that you can come back with a good contraction. Because now that you're trying to build strength and build muscle, you need to be relatively fresh for every set. You don't want to be at this heart rate level where you can't even talk while you're doing the strength training, because that's not really strength training at that point, or at least you're not going to get the most out of it. So you're going to need to adopt more strength training, okay? Now, in the beginning, for me, what helped me kind of, transition out of this style of working out and more into strength training is I would get my heart rate up with some cardio for 10 or 20 minutes, and then I would do strength training, but I would do like supersets, which I still do to this day. Quick definition on supersets. And there's endless combinations. This is not the only way to do it, but it's when you take 2 exercises and you do them back and forth with, again, a little bit of rest in between sets. So for example, let's say you're doing a row and a squat. You would do a set of rows, go into a set of squats, and then rest, and then repeat for, let's say, 3 to 4 sets. It's a great way to feel like you're still getting some conditioning, because you are, but also allow for a little more room to do strength training. Hope that makes sense. So that's number 1. You got to do more strength training. And this kind of is the same point, but a little bit different. Less cardio to fit more strength in, less HIIT style workouts to fit more strength in. There are plenty of people on this planet that are jacked that still do HIIT style, but I guarantee you, if you were to look at their week, it is the smallest part of their program. They're doing a lot of reps and then rest, okay? And then finally, the last point is and this is probably the hardest part. There can't be more dieting down if you're trying to build muscle. Here's the analogy I use. Let's say you have a house and you're trying to build an additional room on the house. I can't start ripping out drywall from this room to build the new room. I got to go to Home Depot and get additional materials to build that new wing of the house. Well, when you're looking to build tissue that you don't have, you need to eat more calories than you're currently having, okay? Now, this doesn't mean you need to make yourself sick and double your intake overnight. In fact, I don't recommend doing that. We're just talking little increments, kind of like strength training. And so we need to look at first increasing our protein, because if you're eating next to no calories like I was, you're probably not eating enough protein either. And so that's the first place you look. This is what's going to help you build muscle the most. Honestly, to give you an initial target, no adult, in my opinion, should be having under 100 grams of protein per day, which may sound like a lot. You're probably going to have to work up to it, but there's just objective truth here. You won't build muscle without eating enough protein. And then calories in general, because you are breaking down more tissue, right? And also, as you build more muscle, you now need more calories to support that, just like with the addition on the house. Once you finish the addition, well, guess what? You got to heat the house. You got to heat the addition. You got to cool it. You got to have electricity. You have more utilities that you have to pay to keep that part of the house going. Same thing with muscle mass. For me, I mentioned I used to eat 1,200 calories on a good day. Now I eat anywhere between 2,500 to 3,000. This is a span of 12 to 14 years, so it's taken time. But my point is, the only way I'm able to maintain even the muscle mass I have, which I'm not saying I'm huge, I'm not trying to be, but I have a lot more muscle mass than I used to have. The only way for me to maintain that is to continue to strength train and to eat more calories, especially with protein. So this is a process. This is not something that's going to happen for you overnight, okay? Because again, you're going to have to loosen your grip on the things that have worked for you up to this point and adopt new things. As always, I hope this helps. Please like, share, and subscribe. If you have questions, please leave them in the comments. I'll be happy to answer them. I'll see you for the next video.